Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome back to The Explainer, everyone. Today we're unpacking a short but honestly profound piece of text that's going to challenge a massive core assumption most of us hold about mental health. We're going to explore the hidden faces of trauma and literally rethink everything we know about PTSD. I'm talking about the people we pass in the grocery store, the person you sit next to on the bus, or, maybe even the person looking back at you in the mirror every morning. Let's get right into it.
Who truly suffers from PTSD? I want you to pause for just a second and really think about that. When you hear those four letters, PTSD, what is the very first image that flashes into your mind? Well, for the vast majority of us, that image is highly specific. But the source material we're looking at today, it's about to completely shatter that preconceived notion and really force us to widen our lens on human suffering.
Section 1. Beyond the Battlefield. Rethinking Trauma.
Now, we all universally accept and deeply respect the profound trauma experienced by military service members, right? The battlefield is the historical origin of the PTSD diagnosis, stemming from the undeniable horrors of war. We know this, and we acknowledge it. But our source material urgently redirects our attention over to the unknown side, everyday, unseen trauma. It's asking us to pivot away from the battlefield and look at the quiet, untelevised battlegrounds of everyday life. These hidden sufferers, they carry identical neurological and emotional burdens, just without the formal recognition.
So the crucial point is, there are many kinds of PTSD. That is a direct word-for-word extraction right from our source material, and I want you to just let that simple sentence anchor you for a moment. It's really the whole thesis of everything we're unpacking today. Post-traumatic stress disorder is not a singular, uniform experience limited to just one specific demographic. Actually, it's a massive spectrum of human reaction to extreme, overwhelming adversity.
Section 2. Unseen Mental Hardships. Quiet Crises.
Our text identifies some incredibly varied and honestly quite unconventional sources of severe trauma. We have mothers facing unimaginable grief, mothers entangled in really complex systemic separations, and even salesmen experiencing absolutely crushing professional defeat. What this reinforces is that trauma is absolutely not one size fits all. The human brain doesn't categorize trauma by social expectation. It just registers a profound, world-shattering event. Let's look a bit closer at each of these.
Mothers who have lost a child. The emotional weight of this specific kind of loss is just devastating. It's a complete reversal of the natural order of life. For a mother enduring this, the grief isn't just a temporary sadness. It's a fundamental, traumatic fracturing of her entire reality. This right here is an intense, completely invisible battlefield.
Then we look at mothers who have had a child taken from them by the system. Our source material presents this with stark neutrality, and that's exactly how we need to view it to understand the psychological impact. Regardless of the politics, regardless of the legalities, the physical and emotional separation of a child by systemic force is an immense, life-altering catalyst for severe trauma. It's an abrupt severing of the deepest human bond imaginable, resulting in a very unique and agonizing form of everyday PTSD.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the inclusion of a seemingly very different group. Salesmen with a helpful product, unable to build a team to share it with the world. At first glance, you might be wondering, wait, how does this compare to the previous two examples? But our source text deliberately groups them together. It asks us to explore the deep, frustrating despair of a person who holds something genuinely valuable but faces crippling, insurmountable barriers in bringing it to the world. It's the chronic trauma of isolation, of repeated failure, and the crushing of one's purpose and livelihood. The financial terror and loss of identity in a scenario like this can absolutely spiral into severe, unrecognized mental hardship.
And that brings us to this incredibly powerful quote from the text. The mental hardship that people are going through, this perfectly ties all these examples together. Whether it's the profound, earth-shattering grief of losing a child, the agonizing systemic separation of a family, or the crushing, identity-destroying weight of professional failure, the resulting internal struggle is intensely real. The outside triggers are vastly different, sure, but the inside reality, the anxiety, the sleeplessness, the total despair, that is a shared human hardship.
Mental hardship. Think about it for a second. How many people did you interact with just this week who are secretly carrying a burden of this sheer scale? How many smiles are out there masking this exact unseen trauma? The scale of silent suffering happening all around us, in our neighborhoods, our workplaces, it's honestly staggering once you finally learn how to look for it. Section 3. The best possible way forward. Action and empathy.
And this brilliantly illustrates how our source text explicitly calls for helping these individuals in the best possible way. Because before you can offer a resource, before you can fix any problem, you have to acknowledge the unrecognized trauma. Validating someone's non-military PTSD, literally looking at a grieving mother or a defeated salesman and saying, "Your trauma is real and it makes sense," is the absolute first necessary step to offering real, tangible help.
Which brings us to UOGA. This is the specific entity highlighted in our source material. UOGA is dynamically designed to step right into this exact gap. They serve as the supportive resource, specifically positioned to recognize these varied, everyday traumas and provide the crucial support system that these individuals are so desperately missing.
Let's move to and see how this builds into our final, massive takeaway from the text. USCOGA is here to help. After everything we've just uncovered, the unseen grieving mothers, the systemic fractures, the isolated individuals desperate to share their value with the world, this simple sentence is an incredible beacon of reassurance. It means there's a dedicated presence out there, ready to acknowledge the many hidden kinds of PTSD and offer a real, tangible way forward.
So I want to leave you with this. How will you recognize the hidden trauma in the people around you moving forward? We've completely shifted the paradigm today. PTSD isn't just on the battlefield. It is right here, in our communities, in our homes, and in our workplaces. I really hope this explainer equips you with a brand new lens of empathy to apply in your daily life and a much deeper understanding of the silent battles being fought right next to you. Thanks for focusing in, everyone. Keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next one.